Live from Central Pennsylvania, this is CBS 21 News at 5.
An officer-involved shooting. You have an officer down.
An officer-involved shooting, the first in a series of violent events shaking Pennsylvania. Multiple communities honoring a trooper killed in the line of duty, another hurt. The shooter dead in a scene described as a war zone. 29-year-old trooper Jacques Rougeau killed in the line of duty. 45-year-old Lieutenant James Wagner fighting for his life. The shooter opening fire at Troop G headquarters, then leading authorities on a hunt through Mifflintown.
He looked like today was going to be his last day.
The shooter eventually killed by troopers, and tonight we tell the story of two men killed and hurt while defending others. Thank you so much for joining us at 5 o'clock. I'm Jasmine Brooks. Trooper Jacques Rougeau has returned home to Erie County, first arriving by state police. The casket then loaded onto a hearse, where he was transported to the funeral home. He will eventually be laid to rest in the town of Corey. We have live team coverage tonight. CBS 21's Jessica Babb spoke to those who knew Trooper Rougeau and explains how he's being remembered tonight. Elise Person live tonight at Hershey Medical Center, where Lieutenant James Wagner is still fighting for his life. But first, Joel D. Smith, live in Juniata County. Joel D., you spoke with the man who was face to face with the killer.
Yeah, that man, Dave Gray, I'll tell you about him in just a second, but it is really fresh. There's so many people here, tight-knit community. Everyone seems to know everyone. And just a couple days ago, this entire road was filled half a mile wide with police vehicles everywhere. And you just heard those gunshots. Yes, they said it sounded like a war zone, hundreds of gunshots. Once again, this is Dave Gray's property right here. He's the one who decided to put up this memorial in honor of Jacques Rougeau, the man who gave his life on Saturday. And Dave was probably the last person to see the shooter, Brandon Stein, before his fatal shootout with police.
There's nothing going to convince me that Saturday was going to be his last day. When I looked him in the face, I knew he wasn't going to go much farther.
Saturday afternoon, Dave Gray heard the first round of shots and came outside.
And like a big dummy, I get out in the front porch and I said, "Hey, what are you doing?" Looking irate at this guy, and he's driving up through my yard.
The pursuit continued down Swamp Road to his neighbor's property. You can still see where Stein's pickup truck ran over a bush, went through a small cornfield, and stopped at the tree line.
About that time, pop again.
More than a dozen shots went into the pickup truck and this shed as part of the shootout as well. This is where Stein was killed. Back at Dave's property, he took a moment to reflect on what motivated him to create this memorial.
Well, they're here to protect us and serve. It's nothing but right to show him respect. Just a young guy. Bunch of nonsense. Just a bunch of nonsense.
And here, back live again, this is the memorial right here. Some people have been coming by, adding flowers to it in the last couple hours. Not everyone has such a personal connection to what happened, but then again, everyone seems to have a connection in some way. We had a chance to talk to some folks that were at the restaurant where all of these shots right across the street were fired and where eventually the shooter ended up. Now, for these people, they say it's because of this tight-knit community. It's because of who this person was that this especially cut so deep.
I feel like it would be different if it was somebody maybe just driving through. But when it's somebody that you know is from here, and then I didn't know him personally. You knew where he was from and where his family was from, but it really hits differently, I think, when it's somebody from home.
And a lot of the people we talked to had feelings like that. This felt a little more personal because of the reasons she just shared. Coming up at 5:30, we're going to hear more from Dave Gray. He's the property owner here. The thing he did today to make him feel safer on his own property. We'll see you again at 5:30. For now, we're live here in Mifflintown. Joel D. Smith, CBS 21 News.
Thank you so much. Well, tonight, Pennsylvania state troopers and many others in the community are remembering Trooper Jacques Rougeau. He was from Corey, Pennsylvania. That's in Erie County. CBS 21's Jessica Babb continues our team coverage, showing us why those who knew him say he will never be forgotten.
Trooper Jacques Rougeau transferred from York to Lewistown in March of this year. I talked with his high school basketball coach, and he said it was always a goal of his to become a state trooper. And it's a goal he accomplished. Up until earlier this year, he was with the patrol unit here in York. This month, he would have been marking his 3rd year with PSP.
We are continually training for that devastating call and our opportunity to stare a threat in its face.
To a room full of soon-to-be PSP graduates back in 2020, these were the words that were spoken.
Jacques F. Rougeau Jr.
And it's a call 29-year-old trooper Jacques Rougeau answered just 3 years later.
It's sad and tragic that at such a young age that he was taken, but he left an impression that will never go away.
Leaving an impression that will never go away. That's how Rougeau's high school basketball coach, Chad Sutton, describes him.
He was gonna help you out regardless of what it took, and do it with a smile. He pretty much epitomized the person that you would want to be watching over you.
He said he was a captain and a leader on the team, but off the court, selflessly served his community, working with younger kids as a referee for the basketball league.
He was a role model to children in the Corey community.
In 2014, Rougeau interned with the Corey Police Department.
He was drawn to law enforcement because he wanted to help people. He had a smile that would light up a room. He would be a friend to someone who didn't have a friend.
Described as caring and compassionate as he continued his call to service. In a statement from York Station Commander Lieutenant Joseph Spingler, his approach to law enforcement was through a lens of selfless service, approaching every shift with humility and humor, and the injection of positivity was present wherever he went. Spingler says he was an inspiration and is a reminder of why they wear the gray.
Everyone can learn a little bit from just taking even just a small little look at Jay's life. He's well loved and that he will never be forgotten.
Rougeau is the 104th member of PSP to make the ultimate sacrifice, giving their life in the line of duty. For CBS 21, I'm Jessica Babb.
Thank you, Jessica. And as Lieutenant James Wagner continues to fight for his life at Hershey Medical Center, that is where our Elise Person joins us live, continuing our team coverage with the latest on his condition tonight. Elise.
Jasmine, well, the very latest we know is that Lieutenant James Wagner went in for additional surgeries today here at Hershey Medical, and we're told that we're hoping that he continues to improve and everything goes for the best. That information all coming from Captain Kirk Reese, commander of PSP's Troop E. The American Association of State Troopers says the 45-year-old lieutenant is the father of 3 boys and serves as the station commander for the Bedford Station in Troop G. Wagner became a lieutenant in 2019, but began his career with PSP over 20 years ago. Wagner enlisted in the state police in September of 2002, and after graduating from the academy, he was assigned to Troop K in Philadelphia. In his over 2 decades with the state police, Wagner has moved through the ranks, serving with Troops K and G, the Bureau of Criminal Intelligence, and the Bureau of Communications and Information Services. He's also a veteran of the U.S. Navy and PA National Guard, and he currently serves in the U.S. Navy Reserves. Now, I was in touch with one of his family members today, and they tell me that they are so appreciative of all the prayers that they have received so far. And there's also a GoFundMe online now raising money for Wagner with all of his medical expenses to come as he continues to recover and hopefully pulls through after some surgeries today. Live in Harrisburg, or live in Hershey, I should say, Elise Person, CBS 21 News.
Thank you, Elise. The shooting on Saturday spanned multiple crime scenes throughout the area, and we want to give you now a timeline in Mifflintown. State police say the shooter, Brandon Stein, was playing a game of cat and mouse. It all started at the Troop G headquarters, where officials say Stein opened fire at patrol cars in the parking lot. The hours-long search went through multiple parts of the community. State police say around 12:45, Lieutenant Wagner was shot by Stein. Trooper Rougeau was shot and killed around 2:30. Everything came to an end around 3 p.m. on Saturday. Officials say they do not have a motive for this incident, and Stein was not on their radar beforehand. PSP say that there are 2 charities for anyone wishing to help the families of Trooper Rougeau and Lieutenant Wagner. Donations can be sent to the Pennsylvania State Troopers Association Survivors Fund. That's at 3625 Barton Way in Harrisburg. Contributions can also be made to the Troopers Helping Troopers Foundation. You can find out more about the nonprofit on troopershelpingtroopers.org. The donations will go directly to the families of both victims. And we do have more coverage of this tragic story at CBS21.com. There you can follow everything from the beginning and get a more detailed timeline of events. Now, this case put the spotlight on Adams County CYS, and we're still trying to get answers on what's being done to protect children. We have team coverage for you tonight. Our Elise Person was at the Adams County Commissioners meeting asking them about that. But we're going to start tonight with CBS 21's Jessica Babb, who was at the preliminary hearings for the CYS employees.
Adams County CYS workers waived their preliminary hearing, meaning their cases will now be heard in the Court of Common Pleas. For the last 6 weeks, we've been asking for answers, and today we finally heard from 2 of their attorneys who say there's more to the story than what the court docs allege.
Good morning. Hi, we're with CBS 21.
I'll chat with you afterwards, okay?
Okay, we just want to see if you have any answer to any of the charges that you're facing.
Yep, I'll chat with you in a second, okay?
A tense moment caught on our cameras as they were rolling. An SUV pulls up to the state capitol and the person inside allegedly flashes a weapon at the group. Thank you for joining us at 11. I'm Jasmine Brooks. Here's what happened just minutes after a peaceful protest at the state capitol came to an end.
Go! He got a gun! He got a gun! Hey, keep driving.
Today's rally was in support of Palestine. For more than 2 hours, the planned protest went on as planned, peaceful. But just as things were wrapping up, a black SUV pulled up, and police say the person inside pointed a weapon at protesters. Police soon catch up with the SUV and now confirm they are investigating.
We are tracking what could be the worst conditions in nearly a decade on this weather-worn day. All right, so let's take a look at some of the skies right now. Some ominous stuff out there rolling through central PA. We're staying ahead of this system. The goal to keep you safe, of course, but the rain and hail is being reported in parts of our viewing area.
That's Chambersburg. We're also getting ready for reports of damage in Franklin County. Video sent to us by a viewer again in Chambersburg. You can see trees and debris on the roads. Thanks so much for joining us at 5 o'clock. I'm Jasmine Brooks.
I'm Joel D. Smith. So let's get right to it. Chief Meteorologist Tom Russell joining us right now to check out the storm.
Okay, so what we had is all the perfect ingredients for severe weather, in this case potentially tornadoes. So the tornado watch was this blanket watch that's in yellow. I want to bring you up to date now because they have shaved off a little bit of the tornado watch. Can we take you there? There it is, west of Harrisburg now. So you're out of the tornado watch in places like Cumberland County, Perry County, portions of Mifflin and Juniata counties as well. So the yellow is the overall tornado watch. You can see that goes all the way up into northern PA and then extending way up past portions of Binghamton, New York, for example. These are tornado warnings. You see one here. Now we have this tornado warning here live in southern York County. So we're just telling folks about that. So if you're just watching, we need you to take shelter in southern York County. Let's take a little closer look at some of these storms. So this is what we're watching. This is one coming out of Maryland into southern York. We already had one cell that was over Hanover, and that continues to move out ahead of it, but now we're talking about the cell down past it. So what I wanted to show you, see the yellow, you see the orange here, that indicates severe thunderstorm warning. The orange is now a tornado warning. So it was in southern Maryland. It has now been extended now into York County.
Live from central Pennsylvania, this is CBS 21 News at 5.
150 years of history gone within hours. The Broad Street Market engulfed by an accidental overnight blaze.
Everybody just treats everybody like a good old neighbor in this neighborhood. This market matters. It's mattered for more than a century. It's a gathering place.
Yeah, the governor knows it, and you probably do too. The heartbeat of Harrisburg just turned to ashes. So tonight, your memories of the staple over the years and what's next for its legacy.
The overnight fire claiming everything but the brick of the market building, the sense of community that's rising from the rubble, and how you can help. We have team coverage tonight with an update from local officials and the outpouring of support from the community.
CBS 21's Michael Gorsinger live on the scene with everything we know so far about that fire, how it started, and what's next for Harrisburg.
Our Elise Person also live with the pulse of Central PA and the fallout of the fire.
Thanks for being here with us at 5. I'm Joel D. Smith.
I'm Jasmine Brooks. Calls to rebuild growing loud. Today, city and state leaders beginning the painstaking process of what planning will look like.
All right, CBS 21's Michael Gorsinger kicking off our coverage right now. He's in Harrisburg with that damage left behind and all those flames. Michael.
Certainly an immense amount of damage left behind by this early morning fire here at the Broad Street Market. In fact, just take a look at the highness, what used to be the roof here at the top of the market. It is indeed completely gone. Just a charred beams, a few of them is all that remain in this end of the Broad Street Market. Now the process begins to plan the rebuild. It will take significant time and effort, but city and state leaders say it will indeed happen. Flames blowing through the roof of the windows in the Broad Street Market, getting such a head start on the fire responders. The building just never stood a chance. Once the 1 a.m. flames were extinguished, catastrophic damage inside. Investigators determining a malfunctioning ceiling fan installed in 2017, the cause of the spark that ignited the building. Luckily, fire crews able to save half of the brick building and the entire stone building associated with the market. But 40 vendors out of work. Half of the 1874 built building merely a shell. Despite the odds, Governor Josh Shapiro and local state representatives, along with the mayor of Harrisburg, vowing the historic building will be returned to its former glory.
We will rebuild it. We will rebuild the building. And we will rebuild its business.
This market matters. It's mattered for more than a century. It's a gathering place. It's a great place of great fellowship. It is a place that we love and we are excited to see rebuilt.
Now, after spending the first half of the day in Berks County dealing with a community ravaged by floods, Governor Josh Shapiro visiting the site of the fire. Despite the damage, the governor promising the Commonwealth will work to do everything in its power to help not only support the rebuild, but the vendors, some who have lost everything in the wake. Coming up on CBS 21 News at 5:30, a deeper look into that plan already being mapped out by state leaders to help foster the regrowth of the Broad Street Market. Now, at this point, though the cause has been determined, no damage estimates are available for this project. The city of Harrisburg, along with the market owners, plan to actually spearhead the rebuild of this. The state going to try and chip in not only support, but money to try and bring this place back, although it will take significant time and significant money to make that happen. Live in Harrisburg, Michael Gorsinger, CBS 21 News.
The community is praying for them, and that we hope we can rebuild, because this is something that's needed in this neighborhood.
Heartbreak, as we've been talking about in Harrisburg right now, but also a hopeful look to the future. CBS 21's Elise Person live in Harrisburg with how the community is reacting to all this loss.
Iris's murder was very likely avoidable.
The murder of 15-month-old Iris Mummert by her mother, Felicia Ellis, sparking an investigation into Children and Youth Services in Adams County.
In October of 2022, I contacted the Pennsylvania Office of Attorney General and requested to use the resources of the statewide investigating grand jury.
That grand jury recommending Steve Murphy, a CYS caseworker, Clarissa Kiesling, his supervisor, and Sherry DePasqua, a CYS assistant administrator, each be charged with 2 felony counts of endangering the welfare of children. According to court documents, Iris Mummert was born at 27 weeks with drugs in her system, immediately prompting the intervention of CYS and placement into a foster home in February 2019. Over the next year, Iris and her older sister lived with foster parents who had grave concerns about the children returning to live with their mother. According to court documents, the foster parents and other service providers documented their concerns regarding Ellis's mental health, substance abuse, and other parenting issues. Those evaluations DePasqua recommended be thrown out and not presented to the court. Iris's foster mother worked for Dauphin County Children and Youth and was quoted in court documents saying, "As a professional in this field, I have struggled to describe this work as anything else but shallow and mediocre, setting these children up for failure." In February 2020, the children were returned to their mother's care. And on May 21st, 2020, a Childline referral came to CYS prompting an after-hours caseworker visit to Ellis's home. The very next day, in a review hearing, Murphy, Kiesling, and DePasqua, all aware of the Childline referral, did not share that information with the court. Exactly 7 days later, Ellis murdered her 15-month-old daughter Iris, shaking her to death, saying she wanted, quote, "a few minutes to herself."
As a result of that homicide investigation and prosecution, it became apparent that several serious failures occurred in the supervision and reunification process in this case.
This little girl was murdered 3 years ago, and just today these individuals are being charged. Were they overseeing any other cases over the past 3 years?
But they all worked for CYS up until July 14th. Stephen Murphy resigned with CYS through the county. Whether that had any relation to this, I have suspicion, but I don't know that. But both Kiesling and DePasqua still serve as supervisors at Children and Youth Services. As recently as this morning, they were there this morning.
CBS 21 stopped by Murphy's home, to which the garage door was shut on us, and then DePasqua's home, to which no one answered. And I reached out to Children and Youth Services here in Adams County. They referred me to the county manager, who then, once I got him on the phone, referred me to a press release from the county commissioners. That press release stated that right now, these 3 individuals, they reminded the public, are innocent until proven guilty. A 10-page DHS report on the fatality of 15-month-old Iris Mummert. Iris was murdered by her mother, Felicia Ellis, just 3 months after being returned to her care by Adams County CYS. That 10-page report notes strengths, deficiencies, and recommended changes found by the county. Under recommendations for change at the state and local levels to reducing the likelihood of future child abuse fatalities, Adams County CYS found no recommendations to be listed. However, a review by the Pennsylvania Department of Human Services noted weaknesses by the county in Iris's case. They identified that although family meetings were held every 3 months, not all service providers were invited to address concerns. DHS also found that services were not established prior to the children returning home in February 2020. The DHS report also notes Adams County CYS would be receiving a citation related to those services consistent with the level of risk. CBS 21 tracked down that citation. It says that services to support the safety and welfare of Iris and her older sister were not established prior to the children returning to their mother's care. One of the strengths noted in the report by Adams County CYS was that some providers felt there was good teaming on this case. However, a statewide investigating grand jury presentment shows multiple service providers expressed concerns about Ellis to Adams County CYS. The presentment shows CYS indicated service providers were not consulted during the decision-making process about reunification, and the Pennsylvania Model Risk Assessment Form approved by Adams County CYS indicated only a moderate risk to the children. 3 Adams County CYS workers were charged Tuesday with felony child endangerment in relation to Iris's case. Those individuals are Steve Murphy, Clarissa Kiesling, and Sherry DePasqua. In response to those charges, DHS issued a statement to CBS 21 News saying DHS will work with Adams County to support their child welfare workforce and ensure the agency is operating within the law to provide Adams County families and children with the support and protection they need.
We've got to see her quite a bit. There was times I'd babysit her, keep her overnight, and she was just a blast. She was a sweet little baby.
Let's talk about that a little bit. What was Iris like? I mean, she had those gorgeous blue eyes.
They were piercing blue. They definitely were, and they caught everybody's attention. She liked new things. She was just always happy when she was with us. She was happy, bubbly.
Shirley Stremmel's granddaughter, Iris Mummert, was killed in May 2020 by her biological mother, Felicia Ellis. Last week, 3 Adams County children and youth employees were charged with felony child endangerment after a grand jury investigation into their handling of Iris's custody. Shirley's son, Cody Mummert, was Iris's father. Walk me through what that's been like for your family for this to all be coming out right now.
It's been rough for us all. It honestly has. We're glad someone finally stepped up for us and to, give her some justice. It's been a rough 3 years.
Do you feel the system failed your granddaughter?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They failed my granddaughter, our family, all of us. they're failing other children too, you know, and it needs to stop. It really does.
Walk me through how these charges coming down has brought some justice to your granddaughter.
You know, it's not going to bring her back, but the people that should be charged are going to be charged, and hopefully that is what happens.
America's sailors on the sea and in the air.
We're here to do a job, to get the job done so we can get home to our family.
The job to protect and defend the United States and our interests abroad.
I like being out there. I like the environment. I like the intensity.
The intense day of a sailor.
So you constantly have to be training.
Preparing for potential conflicts, taking you behind the billion-dollar technology, the homage to central Pennsylvania.
Trying to do the Murrow of Gettysburg proud.
And going inside the glorified cockpit of the FA-18 fighter jet. All of that in this Salute to Sailors, the CBS 21 News special.
Sailors that really make the Navy what it is.
And thank you for joining us for this CBS 21 News special. I'm Michael Gorsegner. On Memorial Day, we honor the soldiers and sailors who made the ultimate sacrifice. We thank them and everyone who serves. But now, with global threats in the Pacific and Europe, the U.S. Navy on high alert. Scattered around the world, nearly 350,000 sailors stationed on more than 300 ships, including 11 aircraft carriers, 92 cruisers and destroyers, and 68 submarines. The U.S. Navy is one of the largest in the world. And tonight, U.S. Fleet Forces Command in Norfolk, Virginia, opening its doors to me to give you a rarely seen look at the technology, personnel, and hometown heroes.
By air and on the waters, the United States Navy holding a firm grip on the safety and sovereignty of the worldwide economy.
We're on the sea, we're under the sea, we're on the land, we're in the air. We really cover a large swatch of our planet.
Just a short 250-mile drive from central Pennsylvania, Naval Station Norfolk sits as the backbone of the U.S. Fleet Forces Command. With 103,000 active duty sailors, 125 ships, and 1,000 aircraft, USFFC manning, training, and equipping roughly a third of the worldwide arsenal.
It's critical for the defense of our country. It's the main base here on the East Coast.
So we keep an eye on world events because it'll affect our daily life. It could affect us going on deployment.
At any one time, one-third of the U.S. Navy's capacity deployed across the world. With 80% of the world population living near the ocean, 90% of international trade traveling by sea, and 99% of all international communication passing through underwater cable, a robust presence is necessary.
It's a very capable vessel that can get us enough information that we need.
Known as the Silent Service, submarines like USS New Hampshire helping to protect the 70% of the Earth's surface covered by water. Returning to Norfolk in January, New Hampshire and her crew, including York County native David Leeper, enjoying a little surface time after 6 months underwater.
It literally is like Groundhog's Day. It's like you don't know what's going on or what to expect, but like you just go day to day and like a whole routine.
It's tough. Like you work every day. So I'm not gonna like sugarcoat it, say it's easy.
CD East graduate Seaman Harsh Patel taking in the experience underway to expand his knowledge base.
What drives me is to push myself to become a better person, to serve my nation, and yeah, make my parents proud.
You constantly have to be training. And it's not just training to fight, it's training to keep yourself in shape. It's training to educate yourself so that you are constantly learning and better than your adversary.
It's not normal for people to kind of do the things we do.
Those abnormalities, like spending weeks underwater in tight confines of a sub, are key to the success of the Navy. Every sub in the U.S. arsenal, nuclear-powered, meaning the boats never have to surface, except to get food for the 130 sailors aboard. In comparison to China, U.S. subs, a huge advantage right now. To central Pennsylvania is key to the code.
I just want to gain experience, knowledge about how the Navy works, and experience many different places.
The sailors are our secret weapon. You know, without them, a ship is just a big hunk of metal. An aircraft is just a big hunk of metal. It's those sailors that really make the Navy what it is.
Now, when the sailors head off on deployment, many times they are attached to a carrier strike group. At the center of the group, the aircraft carrier. Think of it as a Mr. Potato Head. Now, the aircraft carrier and its 5,000 sailors, that's the body of the potato. Start adding parts, like a cruiser, a few destroyers, how about an air wing, or maybe even a submarine, and then the entire body or group fills out. Still, the carrier is at the center of the group with a single goal of launching and recovering aircraft. I got the chance to go inside the cockpit with the real-life Mavericks and Goose and the team behind getting those FA-18 fighter jets in the air.
Speranza Animal Rescue is located on a 17-acre farm in Mechanicsburg.
So Speranza is a rescue to about 50 dogs here on site, as well as we have over 80 farm animals on site. We also have dogs in foster. So basically Speranza takes in the most abused and neglected animals. We also take in animals from shelters, owner surrenders. Basically we give them a second chance at life and hopefully to get them adopted.
Forrest Healy has been giving away bicycles since 2019.
Bike a Better Path started with just a little bike drive down the road at George Park. We had a goal of 30 bikes. We ended up getting 50 bikes.
The idea for his nonprofit, Bike a Better Path, came to him after reading posts on social media.
Some single mothers that needed help and support, and I just was inspired by all the giving, and I thought, what can I do?
Then his wheels started spinning.
I found out that there are over 2 million kids in Pennsylvania living in poverty. So, you know, they have all these programs for food and shelter, but what about the kids themselves? So bikes seemed like a natural solution.
For the past 20 days, CBS 21 News has been shining a spotlight on organizations making a difference in Central PA.
It started in the fall of 1985. Our goal was to bring a quality therapeutic horseback riding program to the people of the capital area.
By coming here, well, you can hear it in the background. They're socializing. They're meeting new people. They're talking.
The people.
Our organization really depends on, I'm a staff of one, so that tells you everything you need to know on how much I need volunteers.
They're so grateful. That's one of the benefits of volunteering here is everyone is so appreciative.
I just love meeting people's needs at the point of contact. So it's just people who need food, get food, and they have it.
It just feels so good doing something like this, making a homemade meal for families that have spent all day in the hospital.
The places.
This truly is a friendship center because we have developed friendships. We've done things outside of here. It's just, you know what, it's so nice in the morning to go somewhere and someone says good morning to you. Because you're at home, you don't have people to talk to a lot of the time. So here you develop friendships.
Just helping the women. We know that when we sell our clothing, all of our profits are going to help these women.
Just a rough estimate, in a month, Speranza, it costs to run Speranza about $60,000 to $80,000 just every month.
One of the things that makes live theater special is the audience and that participation between all of the artists on the stage and the audience that's out there.
The stories.
For me, the best thing is helping clients choose outfits to go on to interviews and on to their jobs.
Crossing the finish line, we say, is just the beginning, because when they cross the finish line, they have a whole robust toolkit full of skills that they can use long beyond.
21 Days of Caring sponsors Renewal by Anderson and Schellenberger, Januzzi and Wolf understand the importance of giving back to the community.
We want to help transform Central Pennsylvania, and every little effort helps, no matter how big or how small. And we believe that doing that year-round truly makes a difference.
This year, the staff at Schellenberger, Januzzi and Wolf stepped up to help the Penn State Health Children's Hospital.
So what we did is we put together so much money and then the firm matched that amount.
Gifts from the hospital's Child Life wish list were purchased, packed, and delivered.
And toys and coloring books and markers and crayons, things like that. There were even like teething mittens for the infants and things like that, sound machines for kids. So we just got a variety of items to donate to them.
Each one of us is very blessed
and it's so nice to be able to give back to those who are less fortunate than us.
We want people to know that we like helping others in any way that we can.
Christmas is just once a year, but needs facing our community are 365 days a year.
We've worked at food banks everywhere we've lived, and I think it just feels so direct. You know, you're giving somebody the food and they're right there and you can see them get the food.
Take time to learn more about the organizations we profiled. Make a donation if you can, or volunteer your time.
What I would say to people who are thinking about donating to Vicky's Angels is the donation you make has an immediate impact on families that need it immediately.
Sometimes they get a little emotional, and we do too. And it's good. We enjoy it.
Thank you to all the organizations, volunteers, and sponsors who make us all proudly Pennsylvanian. For CBS 21 News, I'm Candace Scalise.
All right, you know we always give you those great pictures from Skyview 21. Well, this is unique because this is a live picture happening right now. So Skyview 21 is about 400 feet up in the air, and this is a live view looking north from Harrisburg.
Skyview 21 flying over the William Penn High School building in Harrisburg after it caught fire this morning. And it's not the first time this has happened.
Skyview 21 flying over the Harrisburg Mile.
Skyview 21 showing you the aftermath. A small family inn blown to pieces in Lancaster County.
I've seen houses sitting on jacks ready to be moved, but never saw one being moved.
Right here is where that Jeep drove off of this embankment and crashed down into the water behind me here. When authorities arrived to the scene, they say they found those two people dead inside the Jeep.
The Pennsylvania Department of Transportation announced that work is set to begin today on the I-83 reconstruction plan.
Now take a look behind me at some of the evidence that they're seeing, the peeling on this house, a primary piece of evidence for lead present in and on the house.
So officials right now are still on the scene working to clear up the large debris you're seeing here. It spilled into the roadway after a tractor trailer crash. 15 days after that early morning explosion here at Raffo Township, the Public Works building basically gone. Township officials deciding on some important things, what to do next with some other damage as well. A neighbor talking about this, a home explosion in West Donegal Township, completely destroying the house and leaving one person dead. Skyview 21 flying over what was left. All that debris just strewn across the street, smoke filling the air for miles.
And the Skyview 21 drone team has also been in the holiday spirit really all month long. We've seen some really amazing light displays throughout our viewing area. And right here is the Skyview 21's team with the bird eye view of Central Pennsylvania's brightest and merriest light displays.
Here at CBS 21, we do our best to take storytelling to new heights with Skyview 21.
Yeah, all year long, the drone team has given us a bird's eye view of our area. Here's a look back on the sights of Central PA from 2023.